perhaps we can kick things off with just tell us a bit about yourself, where you grew up and why money, finance and investing was part of your childhood, if it was or if it wasn't. Just any experiences you have growing up with it.
Sure. So I grew up in outer Western Sydney, so in Penrith and Penrith, not with an F, with the TH. Look, there's always formative experiences. I suppose always remember my grandfather he was a small businessman, ran a butchery. My folks actually met out in a small country town where my mum grew up, and so country folk came down to the big smoke to get their kids a decent education. It was I think just memories of my grandfather working. I thought, this is very interesting. This guy arrived in the country on one of the dreadnought boats, or dreadnought. They were known as the dreadnought kids. So they came out from Great Britain. He was, I think, 15 and had nothing, and went out and worked out in sort of rural Western New South Wales and built enough capital to, get a small business. And so that's pretty impressive. That sort of inspired me. I think that, you can go places in this Australia, is for better or worse. Well, it's a very positive thing that there's still quite a lot of social mobility in this country. I think it's what drives productivity, drives the entrepreneurial sort of spirits that you see in this country compared to some older, more conservative countries that I've spent some time in Europe, and you just don't feel that same energy and vibe. And that's I think a lot of that is because of where we came from as a country. And for me, it was sort of trying to educate. University of Western Sydney, obviously not a name university, but for me, getting a commerce degree was a stepping stone to get into finance. I was inspired also, I think, just by what was going on politically at the time, and economically, Australia was starting to show more dynamic approach. Keating's reforms.
So this was the late 80s, early 90s?
Late 80s, early 90s, and you saw all these crazy entrepreneurs who came out of the woodwork, and they weren't really business builders, they were more financial engineers, and obviously it ended badly. But, I was in year 12 studying for my HSC. I was, I had my head in the paper, the Financial Review, reading about what Bond and Skase were up to, and trying to work out what was the linkage between what was going on in the business world and what was going on in the economy. And they were linked, because it was, a lot of that was driven by deregulation. So that in a way, that's why I had it in my head that I wanted to understand how to invest and how to value businesses. And so it was a question of then how to get there.
Yep.